Hey guys, Hayden here with another Smash Brothers like discussion. Now, the Smash Brothers Direct is just a few days away. In fact, it's happening in less than 2 days, so I am super excited. By the way, before I begin, you might notice I'm not in my regular recording spot. I'm actually home right now. I'm in my room, which has been stripped of pretty much all my stuff, so it's just kind of a boring blank background. But yeah, I want to talk to you guys about some things that I'm hoping to see in the Smash Brothers Direct. Now, obviously, the big hype is the characters, so a lot of people have been talking about that, myself included. But something that I think not as many people are paying attention to, which is I think a for sure thing, is we're gonna get some stage DLC. And a lot of people are talking about, oh, I want this stage from Melee to come back, and I want this stage from Brawl to come back, and all that stuff. But I want to see, personally, I want to see some new original stages. And based off the poll I made on Twitter earlier, it seems like that's what you guys mostly want too. And if you guys do not follow, if any of you don't follow me on Twitter yet, I'll leave a link for that. I'll leave a link for my Twitter in the description below, or in the comments, sorry. But yeah, so these are 5 stages. I loosely use the term top five because these are just kind of like ideas for stages that I thought up today and kind of wanted to share with you. You could call it a top five, but these are basically just 5 stages I had in mind, kind of in order to them, but not really. So without further ado, let's get on. That's what you're probably wondering what the blank white spot is next to me. But moving on to my fifth spot is Summers from Earthbound. Now, Earthbound, if you have not played it, go get yourself, I don't know, find the copy on the Super Nintendo or download it off the Wii U eShop. That's probably the easiest way for most people. But definitely play it. It's super underrated RPG. Well, I wouldn't say underrated, but underplayed, I guess, RPG. NES and Smash Brothers is what got me to play it. But I think Summers, it's a really cool location in Earthbound. It's where you end up fighting this giant kraken thing. It's a big green monster, and it's actually a real. I had a lot of trouble beating it, but I think this could be a cool location, mostly because it's a pretty mild mannered place. It's mostly a vacation resort, as you can tell by the picture. So I think it could be played like you'd maybe fight on the dock, and then you'd maybe like fight on the street a bit, maybe the beach a little, but there'd be water to the side where you could swim in it, but every once in a while the kraken would come out and breathe fire on you, and then I think the kraken could be defeated by maybe Pooh, one of your party members. His name's Pooh, I know, funny. He could zoom in, or he could teleport in rather, like he does in the games, and use PK Starstorm to get rid of him, and then a little while later, the Kraken will show up again and start breathing fire on you. Just a very mild mannered stage, but every once in a while, the Kraken comes and wreaks havoc on it. So I don't think it should be a stage boss where you have to defeat it on your own. I think it could show up for a few seconds and then Pooh could defeat it. So that's just my fifth spot. I think Earthbound definitely needs more representation. I know there's only 3 games in the series, but it's just an amazing series. I've never actually played Mother 3 or the original Mother. I've only actually played Earthbound, the middle game, but that alone has been enough to make me want more Earthbound stuff in this game. And I think a new stage would be definitely called for. The only new stage we got was Magic Hand, and that was in the 3DS version. So I don't know. The Wii U version's what I play, and I want to see new Earthbound stuff on the Wii U version. So, moving on to my number 4 spot, we have a Dr. Mario stage. Now, a Dr. Mario stage, there was actually a pretty convincing leak that came out a couple months ago of a Dr. Mario stage, and it was proven fake, but that's really gotten me thinking. Dr. Mario is the only character in Super Smash Bros. That doesn't have a stage from a game that Dr. Mario was in. Now, what I mean by that is, okay, so there's no stage that's like completely all about Dark Pit, but there's a couple. There's Palutena's Temple, which is from Kid Icarus Uprising, which is a game that Dark Pit was in. For like, if you guys understand what I'm saying, like for example, there's no stage heavily like based on Bowser, but Bowser is in all of these uh, games that these Mario stages are based off of. So what I'm saying is that there's no stage in the game. Excuse me, my God, I burped so much. There's no stage in the game that Dr. Mario has been a part of. If you understand what I'm saying. So I think a Dr. Mario stage could actually be really cool. So I think it would obviously have to be in a or in a pill jar, kind of like what you see on screen here. And pills would be falling, but the viruses would be like the platforms, and then as the pills fall throughout the match, the viruses would disappear and the platform layout would change because the viruses would be disappearing. That was kind of redundant what I said, but you know what I mean. And then the blast zones would be to the side. Like there's walls on the jar here, but I think there just have to be no blast zones to make it easier to KO. And I think the camera would have to be fixed. It wouldn't move, kind of like Flat Zone, and Flat Zone 2. So actually, I don't know if the original Flat Zone had a fixed camera or not, but I know Flat Zone 2 did. Um, so yeah, kind of like that. I just think it'd be really cool for Dr. Mario to have his own stage because again, he's the only character without his own stage in the game. So I think a Dr. Mario stage definitely fitting. Even though that leak was very convincing but proven fake, I still want to see a Dr. Mario stage. So moving on to my number 3 spot, we have Fuel Stack from Metroid Prime Hunters. Now this one's probably not one you were expecting, but Metroid Prime Hunters, if you guys watch my top 10 multiplayer games, is a game that is very near and dear to me. Um, and Fuel Stack is one of my favorite stages in the game. Now, first of all, it would be nice to have a Metroid stage that isn't based on lava or acid, I guess, because the only stage I think the only Metroid stage that's been in Super Smash Brothers that hasn't had lava or acid in it is Frigate Orpheon from based on the Metroid Prime series. So I think Metroid Prime Hunters, first of all, say what you want about the single player, the campaign mode, but the multiplayer is freaking amazing. I loved it back in the day. I still pick it up every once in a while and play just against computers because it's just so much fun. But I think that game definitely should get some representation in Smash Brothers, in some form or fashion. I know there's like one song from the game that's in Smash Brothers, but I think a stage is I think a stage is worthy. There's a lot of really good areas in that game to make for good stages, and Fuel Stack is quite a memorable one. So the way that this place works is it's a very vertical level, but in the middle there's a giant elevator-like thing. It's called the Fuel Stack. Basically, when you step in it, you start to rise up and up and up faster and faster and faster. But if you stay in too long, you'll shoot into like this energy thing, and it's an automatic death. And I think that could be a really cool mechanic to Smash Brothers. I think the stage could be very tall but have very narrow blast zones on the sides. But so you could hop in the elevator at the bottom and ride it up, but if you stay in too long, then you'll just die. So it's a very risk reward kind of thing. Like the longer you stay in, the higher up you can get, but but you'll move faster and faster, and you could end up dying. So you can kind of see in this picture here. Um, you can see like the bottom of the fuel stack and at the top, and in between there's like different layers of platforms. So I think that could be a really cool idea for a Metroid stage. And again, it's from a game that I think doesn't get enough representation. And oh geez, my charger's messing up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that on the screen or not. But yeah, so I think Metroid Prime Hunters definitely needs more representation in Smash Brothers. And Jesus Christ, come on, Charger, don't be messing up on me now. And I think we need a stage from Metroid that isn't lava based. You know, Metroid's more about just exploring lava areas, and Metroid's I think a really big franchise, and it doesn't get enough representation in Smash, certainly character wise. But I think if we can't get Ridley, I think another stage is definitely a new original stage is definitely in order. So moving on to my number 2 spot, we have Death Mountain from specifically The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now, there's not really been any mountain-like levels in Smash Brothers based on the Legend of Zelda series. And first of all, the Legend of Zelda series obviously is huge, but A Link to the Past is one of the biggest games in the series. You know, it set a lot of standards for the series. You know, the Master. This is the first game the Master Sword was in, Zelda's Lullaby, and to me, most importantly, the ability to transition between two different worlds. That's something that, or travel through time, you know, like basically traveling through two different worlds is something that the Zelda series has become known for a lot of the time. So, like, for example, there's the light and dark world in this game, and there's Hyrule and Lorule and A Link Between Worlds. There's traveling from the past to the future in Ocarina of Time. So I think that traveling mechanic is very important, and I think it should be represented in a Zelda stage. And I think Death Mountain is an awesome way to do it. So I think you could start off the stage like in the light world where there's like mountain, there's like the Tower of Hera in the background, but then there's like boulders kind of falling down on you. But I think throughout the match, it would be cool if it switched to the dark world, and you could have Ganon's tower in the background, and as a stage hazard, Aghanim, or however you pronounce his name, could come out and kind of fire his lasers everywhere. And if you reflect them, then okay, that's cool. Like you reflected them, like you're safe. But you could get zapped by them. They could be pretty damaged. They could be pretty painful. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the lasers, if you reflect them at him, could like that's how you could get rid of him, kind of thing. Like he won't go away until you hit him like 3 times or something, or he'll just eventually go away. Either way, I think it'd be really cool. And again, Death Mountain, it's a very iconic location in the Legend of Zelda series. It's in a lot of games. It's in A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess. I don't think it was in Skyward Sword. I think that was Elden Volcano. But correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's been a while since I played Skyward Sword. But I think Death Mountain would make an awesome place, especially for a series that I don't think it got the best stage representation in Smash Brothers Wii U. I mean, it's gotten a lot of stages. Don't get me wrong. There's Skyloft, Bridge of Elden. Uh, God, what else is there? There's Hyrule Temple. There's Pirate Ship. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Hmm, I feel like I'm forgetting a new one. I don't know. I forget. But I think having a stage from A Link to the Past would make a lot of sense. It's, again, one of the biggest games in the Legend of Zelda series, and a very iconic location. And there's a lot of cool things they could do with it. Again, with Again switching to the Dark World and whatnot. So moving on to my number one spot, my the stage that I want to see. I know I said like very loosely it's a top five, but this is a stage I really, really want to see in Smash Brothers, and that is Gangplank Galleon from Donkey Kong Country. So, as you guys may know, I am a I am a King K. Rool campaigner. I want to see King K. Rool in this game so badly. He's who I voted for on the fighter ballot. He's my no far and away the character I want to see the most. The game needs more villains, it needs more heavyweights, and it needs more Donkey Kong reps. And King K. Rool fits all three of those. But not just that, he also, I think, is a really cool character. He's one of the most iconic bosses, in my opinion. Donkey Kong Country was a huge game from my childhood. Played that game every day after school religiously. And this is a very memorable portion of the game. Fighting, you would always see this ship. Like if you've ever played Donkey Kong Country, as you're getting through the game, you see this ship move closer and closer and closer to the island, and you're wondering, like, what is that? The 6-year-old in me was like, oh my god, like, what is that? Like, what's that ship doing there? Am I gonna get to go there at some point? And when you do, it's when you have the final showdown with King K. Rool in the original Donkey Kong Country. And this was just amazing back in the day. Like seeing the island, seeing Donkey Kong Island in the background, and then having this awesome climactic showdown on Gangplank Galleon. It was just awesome. So I want to see this made into a stage in Super Smash Brothers. And the way I think it could work, I think it could be actually somewhat simple. So you're fighting on the main ship area like you see here. You can kind of jump up on like platforms such as like the back of the ship. You can kind of see it on the edge of the picture there. But I think it would also be cool if you could jump on like the masts like you can in Donkey Kong Country 2. When in World 1 in Donkey Kong Country 2 is based off Gangplank Galleon. I think it would be cool if you could climb up the masts like you could in that game and kind of incorporate that into this and into this stage. And I think one thing that is a must for this stage is having cannonballs cannonballs kind of fall down onto the deck every once in a while. So I just think I just think this would be an awesome location for a Smash Brothers battle. I think it's one of the most iconic locations in Nintendo's history. It's this final showdown for this just amazing revolutionary game, and I think they can make this stage really beautiful. Just the wide open sea with Donkey Kong Island in the background, just in the HD visuals. Oh my god! Like I'd be so excited to see this stage in, and more importantly, see King K. Rool in the game. So those are 5 new ideas I have for stages that I want to see in the game. We're less than 2 days away, so and with Cloud being in the game, anything could happen. So I thought I'd get these thoughts out to you guys. Let me know though what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed anything I had to say in this video, leave a like, share this video around. Let's get people talking in the comments because the Smash Brothers Direct is only 2 days away. I got to keep stressing that enough. I can't stress that enough. So I'm super excited. I'm sure all you guys are super excited. So let's get hyped. So let's talk in the comments what kind of stages we could see in the game. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button down below for more on, I bring you guys lots of Smash Brothers discussions, news updates, and leak coverage. If the leak is worthy enough of covering, I'll cover it and go in detail as much as I can. And yeah, so lots of reasons to subscribe to my channel. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. And I will see you guys later. Peace out, guys. Bye.